Good evening, everyone. I hope you're well on this awesome Monday evening. I was about to say Monday morning. Give people a few minutes to come on through. Okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started and everything. My name is TaNisha Webb. I am the owner and a travel consultant at Urban Chic Travelistas. Um, So, tonight I am going to be talking about how to spend less time in line at airport security. I know that is always a thing, especially when you're trying to get somewhere and everything. So, I have to talk more about how to prepare, and maybe that's my show tomorrow. How to prepare yourself before you're you get to the airport and things. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. But tonight, I want to talk about how you spend less time in line at airport security and what those airport security screening options are. Okay. So I'm going to talk about four major ones, and then I'm going to tell you what my favorite one is that is more of a secret weapon that are none of these four that I'm going to talk about. Okay. All right. So, as you know, when you travel by air and everything, or even with cruising and things like that, you have to go through either customs or you go through the TSA security at the airports and things. Sometimes that can be a long wait. So, depending on how busy it is, the time of year, even sometimes the time of day and everything that it is, that can all play a part in how busy the lines are in order for you to get through the security checkpoints so you can actually get on your flight. And so, I want to talk about some different things that you can actually do on your end and some security screening programs that may help you to speed up your wait and also what those perks are. Okay, so there's four that I'm actually going to share with you, and then like I said at the end, I'm going to tell you which one that I use a lot with international travel, right? To get back into the country, and it's none of these four that I'm going to tell you about. So the first one I want to talk to you about is the easiest one to get, but it's also the most expensive, and that is Clear. Okay, so Clear is a program that is ideal for travelers in the U.S. who hate standing in long transportation security administration lines. So those long TSA lines that we got to all go through in order to get on our flight and things, and they're checking your ID and everything, and we're always in that long line with everybody else. Well, Clear is one of the ones that you can use. It's in about 42 airports right now. So it's kind of grown from the time that they started. I want to say they started maybe 5 years ago with Clear, and it started like in the major ones, like in Dulles and some of the really big airports and everything. And so now that they I think they started out with air 12 to 15 initially, and now they've grown to 42. So hopefully they'll add more uh, airports in the future. I'm definitely hoping in Kansas City because we're building a new airport in everything. So, and it's going to be bigger. So hopefully we can get Clear here. I know they already have it in St. Louis. So I'm patiently waiting. But this one, like I said, is the most expensive, right? And so anyone that is a U.S. citizen and a legal permanent resident, 18 and older, can apply for it. Children under 18 are free and can use the Clear lane when accompanied by a Clear family member. And you don't have to enroll your kids into the program for Clear. Now, like I said, Clear is the most expensive. It's $189 a year. But how it works is that, and I actually got to use Clear for the first time. Now I've known about Clear from almost the beginning and everything, and I have friends that actually use Clear. It's easy. It's probably the easiest way to actually get access if you for whatever reason can't get access to like TSA pre-check or whatever, then this would be the best next thing. But like I said, it's $189 per year for you to do Clear and everything. So I think it just depends on where you're at and how often you fly and what airports you're actually coming out of. Like in Kansas City, because we don't really have Clear and things, then I probably wouldn't get the full benefit of it as if I was in like the DC area or New York or something like that that actually use Clear all the time. But I fly, probably enough, especially, now that I'm flying more internationally, then more than likely I'll go through some of these airports where it might be beneficial if I'm staying over and have to recheck back in. So Clear actually uses your biometric. So you actually, when you sign up, and I'll just tell you my experience of how I ended up doing like the trial for Clear is when I came back from Ghana and I flew into KF, uh, KFJ. Then once I got off and everything, and I had to get my bags, recheck them, and then you had to go again through another TSA once you got off your flight from Ghana. So before you get to TSA or on your route to TSA, when you get off your international flight and you're having to check back in and go back through TSA, then there's the Clear people are right there. And so it was like, hey, we can save you time. You don't have to go through and wait in that long line, which it was long because you had all these international flights that were getting off that had to go back through TSA, right? And so he was like, it's only going to take 5 minutes. Like literally, that's all it did. And all they did was did my biometric, my, uh, you know, did the eye deal, and then also my fingerprints. And I just had to give them my ID, basically, was all it was. And then a credit card number because you got a free trial. So did all of that. And then the next thing you know, they had a Clear line, went through the Clear line. I literally was not sitting there, probably not even, and I'm talking about the TSA line was long and everything. The person walked me right up through the Clear and everything and went in front of the machine. They did my biometrics and stuff, stood me in line. I got priority over everybody else that was in line because they were still helping through everybody else that was coming through the general TSA security line. And I was done. I went through, got through TSA, and that's it. That's all. Easy. And so I can see why everybody loves Clear that has Clear and stuff, but that's one thing that you have to factor in is that it is $189 a year. And then also it's not in every airport yet. It's in about 42 airports in the US at this time. And then also if you wanted to add more family members, um, uh, except for children under 18, you would have to pay about $60 per person to add them onto your plan per year. So that's the only thing about that. Now, with Clear, like I have Tripit, the Tripit app, and I have a pro account. So there are different like credit card companies and other places that actually give you longer trials. I know the Tripit app Pro actually gives you about 3 or 4 months of free service, and then the enrollment amount is only $159. So definitely look into your credit cards and other things that to see if you can actually get it cheaper. Okay. So the benefits of using Clear is that the company claims it gets members through security in less than 5 minutes. Definitely was my experience. You can do discounts with Clear partner networks that include Hertz and Visa Signature. So definitely look into those perks. And then, you can keep your family together as you're passing through security. That's not always the case with other ones, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is what the one that everybody probably knows of is the TSA PreCheck. Now, this plan actually is $85 for every 5 years, though. So it's not every year like the Clear is, but it's $85 per 5 years. Now, with this one, you definitely have to. It's ideal for the travelers in the U.S. who hate to take off their shoes. You don't want to unpack your laptop. You don't want or the liquids during a TSA screening when you're traveling domestically, basically, or departing from a U.S. airport to a location outside of the country. So TSA PreCheck is in almost every airport. Definitely in all the international airports. I would guess that they're probably in regionals, maybe, depending on how busy they are. Maybe, maybe not. So the TSA PreCheck is affords the low risk travelers to expedite through the security screening. So basically, you're going into a different line and everything. They check your ID and stuff. You get priority over everybody else. And then you just go through. You don't take off your shoes. You don't take out your laptop. You don't have to do any of that. Okay. And so they do work with not only over 150 participating U.S. airports, but also 12 participating airlines as well. You'll see that you'll have the TSA PreCheck sign on your it'll be on your boarding pass. And so all you have to do is once you actually and send off your application for it, and then they do a screening. I think you do an interview or something like that, and then you're approved. Okay, and so you do have to go in person just to do your fingerprints and submit documents, and then you just pay that $85 and things, and then it's good for 5 years. So this one's definitely if you don't travel a lot internationally, but you do domestic travel quite a bit by air and things, and then you can also use that, I believe, when you're coming back through like cruise lines and stuff like that. But this is a good thing if you don't want to do all that. Take your shoes off, uncheck your laptop, all that type of stuff. Then this is definitely for you. $85 a year, you guys. Not very much at all. Okay, so if you are an international traveler, or at some point you think that you're going to be an international traveler, or you're going to travel more internationally, then I would suggest that you actually get global entry, which is only $15 more. Global entry is only $100. So remember, the TSA pre-check is 85. The global entry is only 100. So $15 more. It's good for 5 years. This one is really good for people that, like I said, that travel internationally. And so the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol administers the Global Entry Program, and which allows members expedited clearance upon arrival in the U.S. So once you get off your flight, and then there's other countries that actually do global entry too, that you probably could use it in as well. So one of the things about global entry is that when you get off the flight, and you're coming back into the US, then you can use your global entry also to expedite yourself through the process. You stop at one of the global entry kiosks that are specifically for that. So if you don't have anything else, then you just go through the regular customs lines that everybody else is going through, right? If you have global entry, then there's specific kiosks that you would go to and check yourself in, and then you go into the lines for global entry. Um, and then that's the way that is. Now, the global entry actually does have the TSA pre-check in it. So you can also use global entry for TSA pre-check domestically. And so all you're doing is paying an additional $15 to get the international part of that. And the good thing is just like the TSA pre-check, that you only have to do this every 5 years. Now, the only thing that's different with the global entry, that it probably will take you longer because you actually do have to go to one of the airports that's near you, or that you're close to, or whatever. And you do have to do a interview, and I think they might be actually doing those interviews virtually, just to kind of catch themselves up and everything. And so but it does take a couple months. They're trying to catch up the process from them being closed down every once in a while from the pandemic. So you just have to be really patient for it. And like I said, it could take like 3 months or so just to get through that process. So you are probably going to go through a little bit more rigorous, selection with that, because they are making sure that you're okay, sane, ask you a few questions, whatever. I think there's like 58 airports that have the global entry kiosk. Definitely the ones when you're coming back in from an international travel are going to have the global entry kiosk and things. But like I said, outside of that, you definitely can use the TSA pre-check and things, and you'll have a specific number and everything for that. Let's see. Um, so, with the global entry may use the smart gate system when entering Australia without registration. The U.S. citizen can also apply for the Netherlands Flex program. So if that's somewhere that you would go back and forth to a lot, then that one, you can do that one. The U.S. Citizen can apply for the Koreans Smart Entry Service, and you can also do the Panama Global Pass. And U.S. citizens can also apply for the Mexican program as well. Now, this one that I'm going to mention really is mostly has to do with you going back and forth to Canada. So if you're up in the upper states in the US and you go back and forth to Canada a lot, then the Nexus program would probably benefit you the most, which is only $50 a year. And it allows people to go back and forth between the US and Canada. And so the U.S. Customs and the Border Patrol administers the Nexus program, and it allows members to expedite processing upon arrival in the U.S. and Canada. So any citizen and permanent resident of the U.S. or Canada who pass criminal history and law enforcement checks may apply for that. Okay. So let me talk to you about the one that I love the most that is totally free for people that are traveling internationally. So my favorite app to actually use, and I will go over my favorite apps probably in the next couple of nights and everything, but this is definitely one of them and on top of my list. And that is the mobile passport control app. What is the mobile passport control app? It is like the best app ever to get you through the line, and it'll get you through. Um, it will actually get you through customs probably quicker than even the global entry um, access, and definitely the regular lines. So let me tell you how it goes. So it actually allows eligible travelers to submit their passport and custom declaration information through a free, secure app on their smartphone or mobile devices. So if you go into your app store, just look up mobile passport control. You'll probably see it MPC on the app when it comes to, I think it's like in a white background with blue letters and different shades of blue. So you download the app, you put your passport information in the app, and what you can do, I think it's in less than 24 hours, so maybe even the night before, whatever. You can put in the declaration information in there. So that's all those questions they ask. Have you been around animals? Do you have anything to declare? And things like that. So it's those questions, those 4 or 5 questions that you would answer on a sheet of paper, but you're doing it in the app. And then it's going to ask you to take a picture of yourself. And if you're not ready to use to actually say that you've arrived, then you just save the information into the app. And so once you arrive at the first US airport that you come in from an international trip and you actually land, and they tell you that it's safe for you to turn your phones and things, you turn on your phone and you get into the app and you tell them that you've arrived. Once you click that you have arrived, you have 4 hours to actually use. It's going to send a receipt with the QR code, and it's going to tell you, to just watch the signs and that and everything. So when you go into and you get off the plane and you're heading, to either get your bags or whatever you need to do, like go through customs and things like that, you're going to start seeing signs that says mobile passport control. You're going to follow those signs and get in line and everything. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the shortest line ever. Mobile passport control members, they go through the same lines as the dignitary, the active military, and then around that, you'll see like the crew, the airline crew members. They usually don't stand in the line and stuff. They'll usually be on the outside of the line because they'll get priority before everybody, so they can get through the line quicker. But you're in the line with the dignitaries, the active military, and the diplomats. And then the mobile passport control people are also in that same line. That's where you want to be. Like, this is a totally free program, you guys. And so I would use this even if I had global entry. I would still use this before that, depending on how short these lines are or long it is. I would be in this one, even with global entry, for sure, because they still be standing in a long line, and then they got to stop at the kiosk to even put in their information. So you just roll up, like literally. I probably spent maybe 10 minutes in a line, maybe. While you see like the big line when people didn't sign up for mobile passport control, and there's extremely long lines and things, and hopefully they have enough time to actually make it to their connecting flights if that's not their last flight they have to get into. So that to me is like the way to go. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to get this nap. That is the way to go, in my opinion. Now that the pandemic is kind of residing, or it's getting over with and stuff, you are definitely starting to see that a lot of the mobile passport control lines are opening back up. I just went through the one through JFK, and it's definitely opened back up for people to go through. And so it literally takes, once you get up to the officer and things like that, you just scan the QR code that was created and things like that. You hand them your passport, and they just let you go right through. So that is my secret weapon in getting back into the country, and where it's not going to take me 12 years to get through that long line with everybody else. It's totally free. If you're going to travel internationally, even if you have global entry, I would say to download that app. Even if you don't have global entry, don't worry about it. Then download the mobile passport control app, totally free, and things like that. And I promise you, you will get through customs really quickly, and not even have to deal with those long lines at all coming back in. So that is definitely something that is a great tip. Don't even second guess it. I'm telling you. I've used it over the years and things like that. The only time that it didn't help was probably because they didn't have a lot of people that were working in the airports, was probably last year, and that was still like within the pandemic, that things were kind of easing up. So definitely look into it. Download it, totally free to you, don't cost you anything. So that is my tip for getting back through an international flight through customs and not having to wait for very long. So and that was my show. I was trying to get this under 30 minutes, and I think I did. So I just want to remind everybody that please consider joining us in Ghana, Greece, and Egypt. I have reduced the deposits down to $50. That's per trip per person for your deposit, and that is going to run through December 17th. So Ghana is next year in July. So over Independence Day, we are actually going to be celebrating in not Independence Day, but we're going to do our own findings in Ghana and things. And I think we actually end up on July 4th at the slave castle and the slave river and things like that. So we'll be celebrating independence in a different way in Ghana in July. And so I'm going to do probably next week. I'm going to go in depth about my upcoming hosted trips and things like that, and why I do them, and the benefits that you get from them. Okay. The other one in 2024 is Greece. We are going to Athens, Santorini, and uh, Mykonos. And so that is going to be a great trip. We're really almost sold out on that one. So you definitely want to get in very quickly and things like that. And then the next one that we just opened not a couple months ago or so is the Egypt trip. And that's in 2025. I'm also working on a trip to Tanzania, to the Serengeti, and Zanzibar. And then also, I'm working on another European trip. Those trips probably will not be up anytime soon. Those will be in 2024 for the European trip, and then uh, Tanzania is probably going to be in 2025 or 2026. I'm still deciding that. Okay. So as soon as I get that information up on the website, then you'll be able to join in on those as well. So definitely consider it. Don't wait too late to get in on it. We're gonna have an amazing time on these hosted trips. If these dates don't work for you, you can definitely hit me up, and I can actually do a trip for you in your group, a private one, or however you want to do that. And so that is totally fine as well. So I'm a full functioning boutique travel agency. And so I can do everything. So, anyways, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much for listening in to my little TED talk about how you can actually speed through the security at airports and things like that. So I hope that that benefits you and that you get through security, the airport security screening fairly quickly and in the way that you want to. Okay, other than as long as it's legal. Okay, you guys, you have a great evening. I will talk to you soon. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about my favorite apps to use. So, what are on my list that I use all the time when I'm traveling and everything? I'm going to share that information with you. So, I will talk to you guys soon. Have and some some apps. So it'll be apps and some other devices and stuff. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, same time, same station. Have a great evening. Bye.